Welcome to Mo2. We are two coaches, both named Maureen, who are coming together to offer you some tips and share some stories and some strategies on how to create the life that you're wanting to be living. And today, Maureen and I have been continuing a conversation that seems to be revolving around the theme of uncertainty. Maureen, is there something that is standing out for you today that you'd like to start sharing?
Well, one of the things that we were talking about was uncertainty and the concept of walking on eggshells and how that can happen in all sorts of situations. But in particular, we were talking about how it happens in families. And my own experience with walking on eggshells was that I sort of shut down a part of myself in order to be the person walking on the eggshells. And there's and it's associated with family. And so family took on this connotation that I didn't really want it to take on.
So shutting down part of yourself, Maureen, to be the person walking on eggshells, and then it influenced how you thought of family, how you interacted with family. What is it like to just not walk on eggshells? Or if you want to say a little more about the shutting down part.
Well, so the shutting down part was sort of an avoidance strategy, right? It's sort of avoiding conflict. So it was easier to walk on the eggshells. And I guess in a sense, I might have been avoiding crushing the eggshells, or because who knows, that was just the strategy that I learned. And so being very cautious and only showing parts of myself in order to get along. And then, which influences a sense of belonging or not, right? And so then we were sort of talking about, well, what would it be like to dance on eggshells if the eggshells were there, which, sometimes they are, or what if we crushed the eggshells, or maybe there's a different way of dealing with the eggshells. And the eggshells are, the idea behind uncertainty. And or it sort of representing uncertainty. And so, yeah, just for a moment, what would it be like for me to crush the eggshells? How would that have been different? And what does that actually mean? Does that mean that I can be whole and show who I really am and just take what may come?
So Maureen, that's a great just moment to pause and reflect. Thank you. So what if we just take a moment? Are you okay to do this? Just take a moment and imagine for a moment the eggshells and you. And you're doing something different.
And what comes to mind is that we can do anything we want with the eggshells. It's like I can crush them and I can say, this is who I am and this is whatever it is. Or I can dance on the eggshells and enjoy the dance on the eggshells, right? I can figure out, maybe it's not a dance, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's whatever it is. I can figure out a way of dealing with the eggshells that that is energizing for me and maybe doesn't crush the eggshells. And so what comes to mind is the idea of choice, instead of automatically assuming that I need to walk ever so delicately and amputate parts of myself so that I can walk very lightly on those eggshells.
Wow. What really just stands out from that, Maureen, is like, I honor my wholeness.
Yeah.
And I don't know how things are going to go. I'm choosing to no longer avoid, because I sense eggshells, and I might have to, I loved your term, walk delicately. We often say to tiptoe. I've heard that for years, got to tiptoe around. And so rather than feeling like you have to avoid it and walk delicately, you can just, or amputate parts of yourself. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. To honor and be willing to meet the uncertainty.
Yep.
Wow.
And
So what's,
and the other idea that pops into mind is
Mhm.
trust yourself that you can meet that uncertainty.
And what's one thing that our listeners can do to begin that journey of honoring their whole selves and trusting themselves to meet the uncertainty?
What comes to mind for me is there's two things that come to mind, but I'll just mention maybe the first one, and that is to really go to your heart and and show what's in there. Know what's in there first, and then be able to connect to that when you live your life. And to me, that's sort of the beginning of the wholeness.
Yes, thank you, Maureen. And so in honor of connecting with our hearts, to conclude today's Mo2 episode, let's just do a practice of connecting with our hearts. We don't know what's in there. So just I invite you and our listeners, if you're comfortable, to put a hand on your heart and just be aware right here and right now. My heart, I'm here. Breathing in, breathing out, and imagining your breath coming directly into this space of your heart, your chest cavity. And all we're doing is just connecting, just connecting. Breathing in and breathing out. Inviting connection with your heart. Not trying to change or fix anything, just inviting awareness and connection. And noticing. Noticing what you're aware of, if you're able to connect or not connect. All okay. And before we conclude this, just give yourself a message of thanks. Thank you, self. for allowing me to connect a little more deeply with my heart. And a full breath in and out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo.
And
And
so
yeah,
for our listeners to connect with me, go to Caley-Verdonk.com, and you, Maureen?
MaureenMayhew.com. Until next time.
See you, take good care, and have fun connecting more deeply with yourself.